My impromptu speech today is based on the quote from quotegarden.com. And the quote is, "People who say they sleep like a baby usually don't have one," by Leo J. Burke. I feel like this quote is true because I myself am a mother, and ever since I gave birth, sleep has never been quite the same. I am sure that most of you already have a child, um, if you're as old as I am, or you may have even taken a class in school that had little baby dolls that you had to take care of. So you might be a little familiar. If not, I have a couple examples for you. So my first example is what I have personally experienced. So as a mother myself, I have found that with a newborn, it was almost impossible to get a good night's sleep. The baby would wake up multiple times through the night. The baby would be hungry and want to be fed a bottle. The baby would need a diaper change, or even just end up wanting to be held for a little while. And just being wide awake, because babies tend to sleep on their own time when we may want them to be asleep. My second example is relating to the school-age children who take home economics. Sometimes, or at least when I was in school, our home economics class would make us take an egg home to treat them ever so gentle, like you would for a newborn baby. And if we ended up breaking that egg, we would have to take home a replica of an actual newborn baby. Of course, it was a fake doll, but it could eat and it could pee poop, and it would scream just like a newborn baby would. So for me and the rest of us who ended up having the fake baby, noticed that when it got hungry, it would scream. And if it used the bathroom in the diaper, it would cry and scream. And if it wanted to be held, it would cry and it would scream. And the dolls all had timers, which we didn't know back then, but all of the dolls had timers. So for when it would need something, it would set on the timer. So whenever the doll needed something, the timer would react and the baby would start crying. And we would have to try to nurse the baby to the point to where we would figure out why the baby was crying. So we would try to calm the baby by holding it and cradling it and calm it. If that didn't work, we would check the diaper to see if the diaper was dirty. If that wasn't the case, we would try to feed the baby if the baby was hungry. And then eventually we found the culprit and we were able to calm the baby down. But however, we all experienced this, and the timer was actually set for the middle of the night so that we experienced not getting as much sleep as we normally would if we had a newborn baby. So all night long, we would try to figure out what we could do to make our babies calm down. And so it's constantly keeping us engaged on taking care of the newborn baby, just like as if it was a real baby. So for my conclusion, I definitely agree with the quote saying that for people who say they sleep like a baby usually doesn't have one, because I have never met someone who has had a child that was able to sleep through the night to let their parents feel like they slept enough to even say they slept like a baby, unless, of course, it meant that they hardly got to sleep at all.